That same year, Mortal Kombat came out, and you'd think we would have learned our lesson with Street Fighter, but the fact is the advertising for this movie was actually pretty good. It looked just like the game, the special effects were kinda cool, and it had that techno beat you could never get out of your head. We went into Street Fighter knowing it was gonna be bad, but for Mortal Kombat, we were suckered in. So what's the main problem with this film? 4 more syllables. PG-13. The game was one of the most violent bloodbaths that ever hit the arcade, and we all knew there was no way they could fit all that gore into a PG-13 movie. Which is a shame, because there's a lot of characters here that could use a good decapitation.
Where do you get these guys?
The story centers around 3 people. Johnny Cage, who makes his living as a pretentious actor, Sonya, who makes her living as a pouty FBI agent, and Liu Kang, who makes his living as a, Asian. Accompanying them is a mystical something or other known as Raiden, played by Christopher Lambert, who sounds a little bit like Peter Lorre after drinking 1,000,000 sandpaper martinis.
The great tournament was too much responsibility. Responsibility!
They're summoned to do battle in a supernatural tournament known as Mortal Kombat, spelled with a K, not a C. Because it's more threatening? All of them entered the tournament for different reasons. Sonya, because she's after a killer named Kano, Johnny Cage, because he thinks it'll help his career, and Liu Kang, because he's, Asian. All these characters are pretty annoying, but it's Johnny Cage's one-liners that really make you want to kill yourself.
You want me to carry your luggage? I pay money, you carry the bags. Thank God I didn't ask him to park the car.
The tournament is run by the soul-sucking psychopath Shang Tsung, and of course his goal is to, that's right, take over the world.
Of course!
Where the hell are we?
Do I look like your travel agent?
We find out later that Kano is actually working for Shang Tsung and is ordered to defeat Sonya at the tournament. Like most of the characters in this movie, this guy could have been really cool, but unfortunately, he talks.
You know, one-on-one, man-to-man, hand-to-hand.
Oh, come on, I just got done watching Van Damme. Don't put me through another annoying accent.
Almost lost my lunch.
I know the feeling. He's also accompanied by fighter Sub-Zero, who gives new meaning to the term cold shoulder, and Scorpion, whose hand looks like a vagina being penetrated. Well, it does!
Disgusting.
Both these characters are pretty cool, but maybe that's because they don't talk throughout the entire movie. For all we know, they could have Jamaican accents or something.
Who's the big hot bag of bear who doesn't bathe and doesn't care?
Then there's also the creature known as Goro, who's also serving Shang Tsung. And let me tell you can really tell he's been working on his forearms. Oh, what? He's said to be an alien prince, but I don't know. I think he looks an awful lot like the human prince to me. He's a pretty decent effect, despite the fact that his lip movements are about as accurate as a sock puppet's.
This puny mortal will be no problem.
Oh, wait a minute. Cage is about to do something funny. So Sonya defeats Kano, Liu Kang defeats this guy, Raiden croaks up some more advice, and Johnny Cage even manages to kill off Goro, which is an act of kindness after listening to his stupid one-liners.
This is where you fall down.
We also find out why Scorpion and Sub-Zero don't talk. Scorpion turns out is a fire-breathing skeleton, it happens, and Sub-Zero is too busy pulling energy from his crotch to defeat his enemies. Hey, if you had cold balls of fury like that, you wouldn't be talking much either.
Exactly.
After that, the film follows a pretty standard format. Someone fights, Raiden talks. Someone fights, Raiden talks. Someone fights, Raiden talks. So what exactly does he talk about? Well, I hope it's not something cliche like you must first face your fears if you were to conquer them.
You must first face your fears if you are to conquer them.
Fuck me, this is a dumb movie.
Come to a little tournament, he said. Be good for the career, he said.
Later, we find that Shang Tsung kidnaps Sonya and forces her to fight him instead of Liu Kang. Oh, wait a minute, what happened to the brave and powerful Sonya? One second, she's this fearsome warrior, and all of a sudden you put her arm behind her back, and it's...
Oh, save me, he's too strong.
No! It's okay, you know, you'll get out of it.
Let me go!
Alright, calm down, you'll think of something. Okay, chill! I mean, Jesus, you're an FBI agent. It's your job to get out of situations like this. Maybe I should tell her she's not going to be in Mortal Kombat 2. That'll cheer her up.
Get over yourself.
Looking for guidance, our 2 heroes turn to Raiden for some helpful advice.
I have nothing further to teach you.
Oh, now you shut the fuck up. The one time we actually need your advice, and you have none to give. What kind of Highlander are you anyway?
Sorry.
The least you can do is tell us where he's taking her.
The Emperor's castle.
The Emperor's asshole? No! Actually, he was referring to the mystical realms of Outworld. And no, that is not another name for San Francisco. This horrifying dimension has the incredible terror of knocked over statues, and some more knocked over statues. Oh, and a creature known as Reptile, who's kinda like a mix between Finding Nemo and Satan's ass.
Reptile.
Ooh! I hope this leads to another pointless action sequence! It does! I love meaningless violence with no rhyme or reason. It reminds me of just how boring the human imagination really is.
Brilliant.
After we see Sonya dressed up in a skimpier costume, which is questionable but not problematic, Shang Tsung enters with a bunch of hooded servants, and we all know how this works. Alright, the good guys are gonna be in the robes, they keep their head down so you don't see them, yeah, okay, they're walking through, okay, make the evil speech, we all know the good guys are gonna pop up any minute, can we just move this along a little bit? How long do we have to wait here? Yes, I know you're very evil and everything, come on, can they just pop out anytime? Can you just hurry up and send in the clowns?
They're already here.
Hooray! Let's celebrate with more fighting! And how about another stupid Johnny Cage line?
Nice dress.
Okay, seriously, no more Johnny Cage jokes. I just can't shrug anymore.
Enough!
So Liu Kang defeats Shang Tsung, rescues Sonya, sets free all the little Casper ghosts, and they live happily ever after. Or do they?
What is it?
Emperor. You weak, pathetic fools. I've come for your souls. I don't think so.
Well, I do. When the credits pop up, that means it's time to leave the theater and never look back at this horrible film as long as you live. Now granted, Mortal Kombat isn't quite as bad as Street Fighter, but that's kind of like saying being stabbed in the stomach isn't quite as bad as testicular torture. Bottom line, these movies suck. The games are great, but these movies suck. They're horrible. They're horror terrible. If I had a choice of seeing these movies again and crawling across a street of broken glass on my belly with my thigh open, only to be greeted by a pack of rabid wolverines who not only want to eat me, but also rape me, I'd probably see the movies again. But it's close. Very, very close. Like a gnat's wing. I'm the Nostalgia Critic. I remember it, so you don't have to.